What do you remember most about, last year's game? It was your first big game, not your first big game, but a game against a very aggressive defensive front. What do you remember most about that Iron Bowl last year?
Yeah, last year's game was obviously a really good game. We wish it was the other way around and we could have won. But like you said, it was that was a whole year ago, and we've kind of moved on from that. But it is a good learning experience, and we have to take what we've learned and we've applied that throughout this year so far, and we just have to continue to do that.
Ryan Hennessy, over to you.
Hey, Mac, I remember earlier in the year you kind of mentioned this year, especially with the pandemic, you kind of stayed in, but an Iron Bowl as a quarterback for Alabama, kind of explain what that's like, even maybe going to a gas station. Do people say stuff to you? How do you what is that like as the quarterback this year of Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really go anywhere, so I haven't really interacted with fans at all this year compared to last year. I really just go home, lay on my couch, watch film here, eat here, hang out with my girlfriend. I don't really do much, so I can't really answer that in a great way. But obviously, it's a great privilege to be, the quarterback here, and I just try to, do what I do every day. And if I bump into somebody, just try and be nice and say hello.
Tony Sakalas, go ahead.
Mac, earlier in the year, Alex Leatherwood mentioned you as a close friend. Just do you have a favorite memory from your time together with him over the last 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, Alex has been a great person to have on our offensive line. He's a really smart guy, so I feel like we always just bond in that way. When I first came here on a couple visits, my family and I got a chance to interact with him. And he's just a funny guy. And at the same time, he's really smart and a little bit quiet at first. But once you get to know Alex, he's a great player, really, really smart, like I said, and, just a great teammate to have. And he's obviously, done a great job here the past 4 years, and he's worked really hard, and he'll just continue to do that because that's what type of person he is.
John Cena, you're up.
Yeah, Mac, is it cool or is it a little weird to go from 3-star recruit who had to wait his turn to being talked about as maybe the Heisman frontrunner? Is that cool or is it weird, or do you not think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just a long time ago. People always give you a rating or whatever in high school, but once you step on campus, it doesn't really matter. And, we're just trying to, get better every week. And you can only look back to see how far you've come, but you can't really focus on, oh, I was a 3-star, I'm this or that. I mean, people are going to criticize you or give you too much praise every week. So you kind of just have to stay even keeled and just do your job and get better every week.
But do you hear that? Do you hear that Heisman
Michael
talk?
Casagrande, you're up.
Hey, Beck. I don't know, John, if you want to finish your question.
I was just saying, do you hear that talk, or are you able to kind of walk to ignore it and avoid it? The Heisman talk.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see it on TV and stuff, but I'm not on social media, so all that's really just a distraction. And we have obviously great players here, and it probably makes me look a lot better than I actually am. And there's players on our team that should be in that talk, and they deserve the credit that they should get. And we have a bunch of great players. So, and a lot of other schools have great players. So at the end of the day, I'm sure there's people around there that listen to the talk, but you got to just block it out and each play do your job. And then if you don't do your job in that play, there's a next play to do your job on. So that's pretty much how simple it has to be.
Hey, Mac, just wondering, with defenses, how have they evolved with you and your passing game this year? Have they tried to keep more on the deep balls that you were so successful with early on?
Yeah, Michael, that's a really good question. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all watched the games, but people are kind of playing us a little bit different, maybe a little bit more conservative, and rightfully so. But, I mean, each week a team's going to have a different plan for us, and a lot of teams have kind of been backing up more and more. So we have to find ways to kind of just squirt the ball out and get it into the flat, or even with my decision making, just find a way to check the ball down and get the yards that we can get. That's kind of just on me. I think, like, the past couple of games maybe get a little greedy, but when you have the people we have on our team and it's one-on-one, I'm going to take the shot. And, 9 times it'll work and 1 time it won't, but I'll take those percentages.
Charlie Potter, go ahead.
Hey, Mac, just as the holder, I want to ask you about Will Reichert for a second. And just when you go out there, how much confidence do you have in him? And what have you thought of the season he's put together so far?
Yeah, Will does a great job. I mean, I'm always coming out there maybe a little bit too hyped up or things like that. And I try to just calm down and be that like middleman for him. But he's always, like I said, he's super even keeled, straight line guy. He just goes out there, takes his steps, hits it through the uprights, and then, goes off the field and celebrates with his teammates. So he's like the definition of what a good kicker is. And the reason he's a good kicker is because he practices really hard at it. And you can see that on the field. And, to be able to hold kicks and try and go out there and give them the best hold I can. I've obviously improved in that, and I just want to keep getting better. And, Thomas obviously does a great job putting the ball right where it needs to be. So he definitely does a great job.
Edwin Stanton, over to you.
Hey, Mac. A lot of your teammates have described you as a fun guy, laid back, likes to joke around. What's your demeanor on the field? Is it more of a business-like feel, or is it kind of just get to work? Or what's the difference between on the field and off the field? And also, what are some of the better pranks that you've pulled off on some of your teammates?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I mean, I try to just be myself. I know that sounds cliche, but some days I need my teammates to pick me up, and some days I have to pick them up. So we're all in this together, and I try to just have fun out there because at the end of the day, that's why everybody plays sports. You want to play to win, but you also want to play to have fun. And what I've realized throughout the years is that when I'm having fun, not goofing off, but, enjoying the game and celebrating with my teammates and things like that, it just makes the whole experience way more fun. And I feel like we've done a better job of that. You can see that as a team, we're all celebrating together. Everyone's happy for one another, and that just shows what type of team we have. And then in terms of a prank, I mean, I don't really know of like a specific one. I mean, like I said before, there's some like baby powder pranks, more so in the old locker room where like you can set up a trap with a piece of paper and they pull out their locker and the baby powder falls out. But other than that, I don't really think I have like a really good example of recently. That was probably a couple years ago.
Joe Goodman, you're up.
Yeah, that was a funny story, Mac. You waited your turn in Alabama, and in this era for quarterbacks, it's kind of a rare thing. What is your philosophy on that, and did you ever think about transferring?
Yeah, I think that's just like for each quarterback, that's their own personal decision. I can't speak for everybody. For me, just coming in, like I said, in a bunch of different times, I just wanted to grow as a person and as a player, and Alabama gave me the best chance to do that. And they really gave me a second chance as well. So I just kind of took that and ran with it. And obviously, when you're looking around at your teammates and you have a really good offensive line, great receivers, great running backs, tight ends, a great defense, you don't want to leave a place like this. So no, I never really thought about it like that. There was obviously days. I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say there were days that you want to try and find a way to get better, and it's just hard when you're not where you want to be. And I feel like we've just worked through that as a team, and throughout the years, I feel like we've just done a better job of molding together and them taking me under their wing too.
These will be the final two. Dennis Dodd, go ahead.
Mac, how do you take away the performance in last year's Auburn game? Statistically, it was very good for you, kind of a coming out, but you guys did lose the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of always been my motto. Like, the only stat that matters to us around here is wins and losses. And, you can look back at it and you can have a great game or whatever people want to say, and you lose the game. Like, to me, that's a bad game. So you can throw for 1 yard or 500 yards. It doesn't matter. The goal is to score literally one more point than the other team. And last year we couldn't do that. And this year we've worked hard, to just do that every game and score more points than the other team, and everything else will just take care of itself. And I feel like we've done a better job the past couple of weeks, just not having high expectations and just going out there and trying to do our job one by one.
And we'll finish up with AP Stedham.
Hey, Mac.
Hey.
Say, Mac, what are some of the tenets of the Kevin Steele defense? Do they blitz more, blitz less? In the secondary, more man-to-man, zone? What are some of the things they do?
Yeah, I mean, they do a little bit of everything. Throughout the year, they've changed a little bit, but they like to play zone. They like to play man. In crunch time, he's going to call great plays. We saw that last year. He likes to heat up the quarterback a little bit. So, everyone's philosophy is going to change game to game, but from a structural standpoint, all the people on their defense know where to line up. They know how to cover people and how to make plays, and he obviously probably is the mastermind behind that, and he's done a great job, the past few years at Auburn, and we're just looking forward to getting a chance to, go against a really good defense again.
Thank you, Mac.
Thank you.
We'll be bringing up the next player here shortly.